Nigeria's premier and preeminent policy think tank and legislative interface organization Order Paper has said that the governorship polls held on Saturday were characterized by vote buying and selling. The organization said it deployed 400 observers to monitor the 2023 governorship and state assembly elections nationwide. In its preliminary report on the election signed by the communications lead, voter Project Emidayo Taiwo Sadiq Order Paper said that political party agents influenced vote buying and selling in states like Cross River, Adamawa, Ogun, Ondo, and Imo. The organization, however, commended the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for early commencement of voting. The statement read in parts, compared with the presidential and National Assembly elections, there is marked improvement in the arrival of INEC officials for the governorship and state assembly elections. The average time of arrival and opening of polling units stood generally at 9:00 a.m. in many parts of the country. Similarly, from observation of the data collected thus far, the voting process has been described as largely smooth and peaceful by our citizen observers, especially in select polling units in states like Kebbi, Anambra, Oyo, Nasarawa, and Niger. However, there are large reports of low voter turnout resulting from voter intimidation by thugs, political party agents, and voter apathy linked to perceived mismatch of voting and results announced in the February 25th presidential and National Assembly elections. States such as Enugu, Niger, Plateau, Ekiti, Osun, Bayelsa, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Taraba, and Jigawa have recorded the lowest voter turnout going by feedback received so far. There are also reports of political party agents trying to influence vote buying and selling in states like Cross River, Adamawa, Ogun, Ondo, and Imo. Particularly in Imo, there were some cases of systematic vote buying. On the whole, while INEC appeared to have deployed early across many of the polling units sampled, the issue of voter suppression was flagged, especially as thugs have been reported to disrupt voting and deploy violent intimidation to prevent voters from coming to cast their votes in some areas in Lagos, Oyo, Nasarawa, and Imo, amongst others. Now, in Lagos State, the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere has called for the cancellation of the governorship and House of Assembly elections held in the state, saying the exercise was fraught with irregularities. Afenifere, in a statement by its Lagos State leader and chairman, Chief Supo Shonibari and Otumba Tunde Onakakoya, said the outcome of the polls is not a reflection of the will of the people of Lagos. The statement reads, Afenifere has been inundated with reports from its members, agents, and observers who were present and on duty for the process of the election held Saturday, March 18th. In 13,325 polling units in Lagos State, various acts were observed and widely reported that impinge on the integrity of the elections and render the result grossly unreliable. Those results cannot be described as a reflection of the will of the people of Lagos State. The only option open to the Independent National Electoral Commission is to reschedule elections at those polling units where the process was blatantly subverted by an unholy alliance of subversives, including INEC staff, security agents, and hoodlums. Videos of intimidation of voters, either by direct threats or actual violence, and the suppression of votes are rife and viral. With the active connivance of some traditional rulers, arbitrary relocation of polling units far away from designated polling areas, and the snatching of ballot boxes were also rampant. These acts of thuggery were pervasive in at least 11 local government areas. After voting, election materials were snatched at many polling units, and many instances of this were captured on videos. INEC officials blatantly refused to capture and offload results at polling units on INEC IREF portal. Refusal to capture and offload the results to the IREF portal at the polling units immediately after the announcement of the result was an invitation to political hoodlums to buy time to observe, disrupt, or snatch ballot boxes and destroy the votes at polling units. These were at polling units where the ruling party lost or in areas where the Labour Party presidential candidate has substantial majority votes at the elections conducted on the 25th of February. Many of these incidents were captured live, and a few days after the elections, videos of unidentified individuals and traditional rulers threatening anyone intending not to support APC were trending. The intended objective of this act was to suppress voter turnout. Had the security agencies intervened to halt these unseemly manifestations by demonstrating to the electorate that individuals inciting violence will be held accountable, the voting public will have been reassured of their ability to freely exercise their franchise, but the security agencies kept mute. In effect, the gross dereliction of duty suppressing voter, there was therefore a very low turnout in Lagos and many parts of the country. This elections was even more shambolic in Lagos than the presidential elections held on the 25th of February. All the mischief of electoral malpractices and the amended Electoral Act has sought to cure was therefore rendered nugatory. The massive public funds allotted to INEC to improve the integrity of the process was money down the drain. As of 11:30 p.m., no result has reached the State Collation Center from the various local government collation centers. Even local government areas contiguous to the mainland local government state office of the INEC had not arrived at the State Collation Center to submit the results of the wards located units. With all these botched processes, it is difficult to sustain the illusion of a free and fair election. They must be rescheduled election. We therefore call on the resident commissioner of INEC in Lagos to consult with INEC headquarters to cancel the processes in all the affected polling units in Iboju, Lekki, Etiosa, Surulere, Shomolu, Ikeja, Ifako, Ajay, Oshodi, Isolo, Ojo, Omuwo, Odofin, Agege, and Alimosho, and to enable rescheduled elections in these polling units at the earliest possible time. The Oyo Governor Seyi Makinde has won in 17 out of the 18 local government announced so far by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The governor, who is seeking re-election, is on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), is set up against a three-term senator, Teslim Folarin of the All Progressives Congress (APC), and former Deputy Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) Chief Adebayo Adelabu of Accord Party. The resident Electoral Commission rep in Oyo State, Dr. Tella Adeniran, announced 1 hour break after resumption of results announcement. Still on the news, at about 12:15 a.m. on Sunday, suspected thugs of the All Progressives Congress (APC) invaded the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) collation center for the Ogoja constituency, Cross River State, disrupting the ongoing collation of and phones. According to reports, trouble erupted when results from Uku Irede were announced and APC agents refused to accept the figures. Instead, decided to raise alarm and invite their supporters to invade the collation center, saying that PDP was clearly coasting to victory. The collation officer from Mbube East, Paul Basi, who sustained injuries during the expressed appreciation sparing my life from the over 30 first-looking thugs. They took my laptop and destroyed duplicate results used on him. The electoral officer for Ogoja local government area, Peter Kolo, who also confirmed the incident, said the hoodlums remain in words. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, has announced plans to organize the 4th edition of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair, NOGOF. The theme for the fair is the oil and gas industry, catalyst and fuel for the industrialization of Nigeria. After being held virtually in May 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the biennial event is set to return to the NCDMB Conference Center in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State from May 17th to 19th, 2023, and will showcase the various opportunities that exist in the Nigerian oil and gas industry. The event, which was introduced by the engineer Simbi Kiseye Wabote-led NCDMB in 2017, with the inaugural edition held in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, has consistently showcased short to medium term plan and activities of operators and project promoters in the upstream, midstream and downstream sectors of the Nigerian oil and gas industry. The NCDMB chief executive and previously explained that the showcase of upcoming projects is intended to give Nigerian service companies ample opportunity to build relevant capacities that might be required to execute the project in country, thereby creating employment opportunities and retaining spend in country. The goal, he added, is also to reassure stakeholders of the industry that opportunities still abound in the Nigerian oil and gas industry and encourage them to look forward and invest in the sector despite concerns about energy transition and other emerging developments in the global oil and gas industry. The event, which is managed by Jake Riley Limited, promises to have a greater impact this year, and the agenda will focus on industry linkages as well as opportunities within the African continent. The event, according to the organizers, promises to showcase opportunities that exist in the industry over the next 3 to 5 years, and presentations will be made by over 20 international and indigenous oil and gas companies. And finally, on the news, 2 markets in Borno State have been burnt in separate fire incidents. The Gambaru market, which is the second largest market in Maiduguri after the Monday market, is popularly marketed for foods and perishable goods. The cooking oil, orange and spicy sections of the Gambaru market Maiduguri were raised as the timber section of the Biu Central Market, over 200 kilometers south of Maiduguri, suffered a similar fate. Biu is the second principal town in Borno State. The Gambaru market fire, according to eyewitnesses, started around 2:30 p.m. from the orange traders section, while the timber section of the Biu Central Market went up in flame around 10 a.m. The Biu fire, according to reports, was subdued by youth before it could spread to other sections of the market, while the Gambaru fire was put around 3:30 p.m. by the State Fire Service. Governor Babangana Zulum, who went on an on-the-spot assessment tour of Gambaru Market, commended the prompt response of the fire service, which he had stopped the fire from consuming the entire market. He also commended the intervention of security agents, which prevented the infiltration of looters into burning facility. He said he will undertake a second tour of the market to comprehensively assess the extent of damage and set up a committee to compensate victims and rebuild the damaged sections. A recap of major stories says Plateau Assembly Speaker loses seat to PDP. Report rampant vote buying in Cross River, Adamawa, Ogun, Ondo, Imo. Governorship Assembly elections, Afenifere calls for cancellation. Makinde declares 17 councils close to second term. Alleged APC hoodlums storm INEC Coalition Center cart away election materials. NCDMB plans to host 4th Nigerian Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair, and fire raises Borno Markets Zulum promises aid. Thanks for watching.